Hello, motherfuckers. Hello to my ballerinas. Ooh, my ring slipping off. Hello to my ballerinas and my elites. And welcome back to my podcast, to my show. If you are hearing my voice right now, you are now tuned in to Bells Be Speaking. I am your host, the originator, owner of this podcast, Corrielle, aka Bells, and I am so excited and happy to have you here today. Before I get started on this episode, I want to make a few disclaimers in case you're new here. I'm trying to pull my shirt down a bit, suck my gut in. Okay, so first disclaimer is, first and foremost, if you don't like cussing, if you don't like profanity, go ahead and click off, exit out this video. It's not going to be the video for you, not going to be the podcast for you, because I cuss. So that's the first thing. If you don't like foul language, you got to go. Number two, second thing is, if you are listening around sensitive listeners, sensitive ears, like children, elderly people, whatever, or you're in a place where listening to me on speakerphone with profanity could offend some people, like you're in a sensitive space, library, coffee shop, whatever, I suggest you put headphones on, okay? My third and final disclaimer is, speaking of those headphones, make sure you set them at a comfortable volume where it won't hurt your ears when I start speaking louder, okay? So sometimes I'm a little bit low, sometimes I might get loud out of nowhere, okay? Loud, and I'm not gonna censor that, okay? Set your headphones at a comfortable volume where it won't be a disturbance for you, okay? Now, the disclaimers are out of the way. Last things that I want to say before I go ahead and hop into this topic is, first and foremost, please make sure you are in tune with my website, Corrielle.com, tapped in, subscribed, all of that, and make sure that you are on my email newsletter, which is it is the first thing. I was about to say one of the first things, but it's the first thing that pops up on my website when you load the homepage, is my email newsletter. When you join that, that's when you get updates, priority updates of when I put out new episodes, new podcast episodes, when I put out new songs, new music videos, new content in general, all of that good stuff. Everything really is on the newsletter. Everybody gets updated there first, okay? So make sure you subscribe to that, again, on Corrielle.com, and that's also going to be in the description box down below. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you are subscribed to the channel and your post notification bell is turned on so you are notified every time I post a new video and you don't miss an update, okay? All right, so now let's go ahead and get into this topic. I'm so excited about it. I'm gonna pull up my notes that I made on this topic, but it's not even really notes, it's just a few key points that I wanted to highlight. Today's topic is about the common misconception of people viewing kindness, softness, niceness as weakness, okay? I want to talk about that, and it's more specifically, I'm going to talk about it in the context of someone like myself. You could probably relate to this if you are like me, who is a kind person, who's naturally has always been that way, and sometimes feeling like you should change or be more mean, or like, I'm gonna start doing this, I'm gonna start being like this, like feeling like you have to start being a different way or change your nature to get people straight or to put people in their place, or essentially like, you know what, I'm gonna start doing this because when I'm nice, it's unappreciated. Like that type of response is what I'm talking about in this episode today, okay? People perceiving kindness as weakness, I'm gonna touch on that, and then I'm also gonna explain why we don't need to change ourselves. We don't need to be less nice, we don't need to be more, we don't need to do nothing, we don't need to change nothing. We don't need to do nothing but keep being ourselves and If anything, being discerning with who we express that nature of us to, or who we interact with at all, for that matter. Because if it's somebody who doesn't appreciate us in our kindness, in who we are, that's just part of who you are. You know, if you're a good person, you sweet, you kind, you caring, you a good person. Okay. If somebody don't appreciate that, or they're putting us in a spot where we even feel the need to consider being someone else, being mean, being more harsh, being more savage, being more aggressive, to be respected or to be taken seriously, or to stop being messed with, then that's just not the person for us. That just means that that person needs to go. That group of people need to go. And anyone with that form of thinking that I'm going to touch on as well, they need to go. You know? So that's what this episode is about. And I'm so excited to talk about it, because this is something that hits home for me and for a lot of the people that, well, that's not a lot of people that I care about, I'll be honest. But people that I have cared about in the past, even if I don't care about them now, or some of them that I don't even know personally, but that just can relate to this. Especially us being in a world, in a society where people always say that kindness is taken for weakness. People always say that, you know, good people finish last. Like, we live in a society that says we need more good people. We need more people like this, so on and so forth. You know, good people still exist and things like that. But they also say that good people get the short end of the stick, and the good people, it's like, that's what I'm trying to say. Contradicting beliefs. That's what I'm describing right now. But the term would be contradicting beliefs, I guess. You know, like, good girls are doormats, and, you know, the ruthless are the ones that win, and righteousness makes you like, all of those. I'm gonna get into all of that, okay? Those beliefs that kind of reinforce the idea that you're gonna finish last, or you're gonna lose, or you're gonna come up short, or whatever, or you're gonna be walked all over if you too nice. Like, people view those that are the most loud and the most obnoxious and so-called tough, those are the so-called people that are respected and feared, but that's not always the case. Just different beliefs that's been swarming around. So now I'm just start talking about it, because I've already kind of started getting into it. Let me first go on my first point that I wrote here. Okay. Kindness, gentleness, and softness is not a weakness. Don't change yourself and be less nice or more mean just to conform to your environment. Okay? What do I mean by conform to your environment? I mean, like, let's say, for instance, you're somebody like me that grew up in the inner city, you grew up in the ghetto. Okay? You from New York, you from Detroit, I'm from Third Ward, I'm from here. Everybody got a hood somewhere, okay? And one of the most common things in the hood, especially in the melanated community, in my experience, is coming across people that are fucking rude, mean, imperious. What does imperious mean? They got a mean spirit. They're jealous-hearted. They're angry. They're bitter. They're frustrated. Okay? They got a long list of reasons as to why they feel that way. What they went through at home, what they went through in school, what they went through with their mama, what they went through when they had kids, what they going through with their baby daddy, what their ex-husband took them through, the economy, the white man. They got so many different reasons and excuses and traumas as to why they are the way they are. But it still boils down to the fact that that is who they are. Angry, mean, frustrated, bad-spirited. I would just say bad people. Am I saying all people in the melanated community are bad? No, obviously not. But what I'm saying is the majority of the people that I have encountered in those types of neighborhoods, melanated ghetto areas, okay, you don't meet nice people. It's rare. That kind of quality is usually associated with the older people, like older women, the seniors. But the young people in the streets, and not even just in the streets like drug dealers or gangsters and nothing like that, but just younger people, they're not nice. Even when I was going to school with kids, their parents are like, I didn't have the best relationship with either one of my parents, but their parents were mean to, like, verbally abusive, physically. Their parents are mean to them. Like, they're not nice to their kids. Even when it's a young girl that had a baby in her early 20s, she's teaching her kid and training her kid, raising her kid the same way her mama raised her. I literally have experienced that. I went to school with somebody who was pregnant during our 8th grade graduation, had her first baby our freshman year. And the way she talks to her kids is horrible. But that's the exact same way her mama talked to her. Because I know, because I've been on the phone with her before. I hear her mama talking to her in the background. She's told me stories about stuff that goes on at home. It sounds the exact same way as her mama was talking to her on the phone. I've been to her house before, stayed the night at her house. I see the way her mama talked to her. I see the way her mama talked to her other kids. And if you are mean, it's like you take it more seriously. The people that are mean, like, oh, she don't play. They view that as, oh, you don't play if you're rude, if you're obnoxious, if you loud, if you talk a lot of mess, if you ratchet, ghetto, you fight a lot, you got a loud bark. You just like a chihuahua that's just like, rah, rah, rah. You know how some of the smallest dogs just be barking and, you know, trying to prove that they so big. And it's even praised as like, oh, that's so cute sometimes. Like people think it's just feistiness or sassiness or attitude, which to them, they are thinking it's personality flair, but no, you just got a rude spirit. That's what I mean by conform. Because if you're nice in those environments, then they think you a pushover. Oh, you need to toughen up. We need to toughen you up because this world is a cold, dark place. And if you go out there, people gonna walk all over you. People gonna step all over you. People think that having a kind heart means you're naive. This is one of my other points that I put down here, but I'm just saying it now. So in that environment, you are literally trained to be mean. They literally try to take the niceness out of you so you can survive. They put it down. If you too nice, if you too happy, it's too early in the morning, you coming out here laughing, smiling. What do you want? It ain't nothing to smile about. It is too early to be trying to smile. It is too early to be trying to laugh. It's too early to be laughing that loud. Why is it too early to be laughing? Why is it too early to be feeling good? And this is coming from someone who has lived in multiple states. I've lived in Michigan. I've lived in Detroit. I've lived in Mount Clemens. I've lived in Houston. I've lived in Spring. I've lived in Phoenix. I stayed in New York for 6 months. I've been different places. I've been around all different types of black people, all different tax brackets of black people. I've been around all different races as well. Like I went to school, sometimes when I was in school, when I was in class, I went to some classes where I was literally the only black girl in there. I've been to schools where, you know, this is part of the issue too. If you're kind, you're intelligent, whatever, they relate those types of qualities to being white. Why you talk like a white girl? Because in Houston, they say auntie. It's not auntie. That was the most country bonking thing to me. It's auntie. My aunt, my auntie. I say auntie because we came from Detroit. Why are you saying auntie? You sound like a white girl. Why is being nice and being smart associated with being weak or white? You get what I'm saying? Well, I'm gonna leave it with the white part because that's a little bit more of a different topic. But I'm just giving you context. And, you know, like I said, going back to the main part, those are qualities that are essentially they want to remove those from you. Because these are people who have had these qualities, some of them had these qualities themselves, and they suffered for them. They weren't taken seriously. They were walked all over. They were whatever. Or some people just don't like those qualities in people. They want people to be more mean like them because then they can have a buddy that they can sit up and talk shit with. They want more people to be like them because then they can have a little right-hand man that's always down for the gossip, always down for the capping, always down for the commentary. You get what I'm saying? And being loud and obnoxious makes them feel strong because people, they think that people fear them, but in actuality, people are just ignoring them. People know to avoid you. People know she always got attitude. He always, lead it, Ain't nobody fucking scared of you. And that brings me, I'm saying a few of my points right here as I'm speaking right now. But the reason why I kind of went off into that is because, like I said, these are things where people say you need to toughen up so you'll be safe and you'll be basically like trying to tell you that you need to be less nice or trying to make you feel as though being nice is a flaw because you'll be taken advantage of, you'll be disrespected, you'll be hurt, you'll be taken for granted, walked all over. But those are the people that are telling you that you will experience that, or implying that you'll experience that because of your kindness, are the same ones that are experiencing that because of their unkind nature, because of who they are. Or because when they were like that what they experienced was that, so now they're trying to project that off onto you because they feel as though you shouldn't be like that either. But your experience has nothing to do with what my experience will be like. Even if we are living in the same place, you experienced that in this place 20 years ago. The world has changed in 20 years. 30 years ago, 40 years, 60 years ago is when you experienced that. And you trying to tell me that I'm experiencing the same thing, or trying to make me feel like something is wrong with me and I need to be more mean and I need to be more hard and more closed off and less trusting and less happy because I'm gonna attract something bad? No, you're trying to sabotage me. Because if I'm in a good mood, I'm attracting good things. Maybe they were just taught wrong. Maybe it was just because they were never taught, and then their experiences after never having been taught got meshed up into a bunch of limiting beliefs. But the fact of the matter is, I still don't have to listen to that because that's sabotaging advice. Because when you're mean, you're gonna attract people that are who you are being, more than just when you mean. This is about who you are, how you being in general. You attract more of that. You attract more of the same people. I radiate love, kindness, gentleness, softness, respect. And when I attract people, more often than not, I attract people to me that are the exact same way with me. Or I don't attract anything at all, and I just remain peaceful and experiencing what I already have. And they don't like that. Because when they see that, they feel the energy radiating off of someone that is vibrating in kindness, that's vibrating in peace, love, trust, optimism. And it feels different than how they feel. They don't like that based on what side they have chosen. They respect people that are rude, disrespectful, a menace, a tyrant. You know, just because someone else values that type of person doesn't mean that you have to twist and conform to that because the people around you respect and value obnoxious, ghetto, mean, rude, worrisome behavior. Okay, now let me go back to my points because I want to stay on track. I feel like I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent, but I hope it's making sense. This is my next point that I was starting on. They only think that all of those things that I said, that you'll be taken advantage of, that you'll be XYZ, that somehow you're going to go through something bad by being a good person. They only think that because people dog them out. People treat them like shit. People shit on them. The people that feel that kindness is a weakness, or that view kindness as a weakness, are the exact same people that have been dogged out by life. Dogged out by the people that they respected, that they loved, that they wanted attention from, that they wanted to be important to. The people that they look up to dog them out or pay them no mind at all. So, of course, that's what their perspective is going to be. Because, again, that's what they went through. That's what they probably still are experiencing, even when they putting on the facade act of being rough and tough. Because most of them, they ain't rough and tough. They just weak with a big mouth and a strongly used opinion box. But they're weak. And that's why they have to put on the persona that they're tough. Because if I look tough and I look mean and I look unapproachable, then nobody is going to come bother me. They're still trying to protect themselves. Even though they want to look as if they already safe and protected and untouchable by being mean, and trying to present the idea that being mean and being rough and being less nice is what's going to make you, be treated right. But that's not true, because a lot of people that are like that still being mistreated, or they're being ignored altogether. And they're being jealous, sitting back jealous of people that get to be nice and kind and soft and live in a soft girl era, live in a peaceful era or peaceful lifetime. And it's like, well, why can't I get that? I was nice, and when I was nice, they threw that back up in my face. How come she gets to be nice and gets to be treated right? You get what I'm saying? So that's not really productive advice to be taken from someone. None of that means that you change who you are. You change the people that are around you. I've said this in another video. You don't change to fit your environment. You change your environment to fit you. So what does that mean? To sum this all up together, I'm not going to be less nice. I'm not going to be less kind. I'm not going to change who I am, alter who I am to conform to your beliefs or conform to any beliefs of any society, any group, anywhere. What I'm going to do is surround myself with people that appreciate my kind nature, appreciate it, value it, love it, like it, yearn for it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to be me and my character, my nature, how I treat people, how I carry myself is not here to be tolerated, not here to be assessed, not here to be picked apart and redirected. And ain't nobody here. You're not nobody's passion project. And that goes back to what I said at the beginning of the video. You're nobody's puppet. Like somebody here to tell you, okay, you can keep this, but change this. Like you're not here to be picked apart for somebody to tell you how your character should be. Nobody is enough. And even if they are, nobody is here to be sitting here telling you that you being a good person and you being nice is going to get you taken advantage of. No. What's gonna get you taken advantage of is not following your intuition. It's not listening to your discernment, not listening to your intuition. What could get you taken advantage of is giving your kind nature and your love and your understanding and your compassion to people that don't deserve it. I'm not gonna change how I am. I'm not gonna be more mean. I'm not gonna be less giving. What I'm gonna do is surround myself with people that appreciate that and get rid of the ones that don't. Hold up. Let me put my notes back up. I used to believe that everybody deserves love, everybody deserves kindness. I don't believe that anymore. I don't think everybody deserves love. I don't think that everybody deserves understanding. I don't think that everybody deserves mercy. I don't think that everybody deserves grace. I used to. I do not anymore. And I'm thankful because now I am selective and I am picky and I am discerning with who I give my good nature to. What's gonna happen is you're gonna pick the version of me that you get. You're gonna pick the side of me that you get, kind of like yin and yang, light and dark, okay? Because even the most beautiful, sweet, kind things still defend themselves and still protect themselves. That's what I'm saying. Don't ever let nobody make you feel like you being nice is you being naive or gullible or a pushover. I know exactly what's going on. I know what I'm feeling, I know what I'm seeing, I know what I'm thinking. It's just for us, the people that are in our kind nature, the reason why I say following your intuition and listening to your discernment so much is because if we don't act on that, if we gaslight ourselves and be like, oh, well, maybe I should give, well, maybe, ain't no well, maybe. The people that deserve understanding, the people that deserve grace, they will make that, it will be clear that they deserve grace, and then you'll give that to them, and that won't ever come back to bite you in the butt. But the ones that you know they ain't shit, you know it ain't no hope for them, never has been, never will be. It ain't no hope for them, ain't no coming back for them. You know when somebody, they too far gone. And I don't care what nobody say. Some people like to say, oh, nobody's too far gone for Jesus. Girl, there are some people that even Jesus won't help no more. And if you don't know that, then you don't know. You don't know Jesus, you don't know source. God is not about to sit here and keep beating a dead horse on somebody where they have chosen to be where they are and ain't no coming back for them. Now, if they make the choice that they are done with something and they want to be revealed and they want to be redeemed, they want to be such and such, and I'm not talking about going to the church and getting baptized. I'm talking about, no, I'm making a firm decision to be different. Then yes, God will bring them back because God is everywhere. So nowhere is too far for him to reach because he's already right there. But people that don't apply to, even God knows and Jesus knows when to stop beating a dead horse and to give them nothing. That's what I mean by choose which side, which version of me you get. Both are true. There's daytime, the sun shining, bright, warm, nice day, birds chirping. And there's also 12 hours later on the clock, right on the other side of that, darkness, silence, cold, nothing out in the cold. I won't give you a drop of nothing. Like I said, I wouldn't piss on you if you was on fire. I wouldn't spit on you if you was on fire. I wouldn't give you a sip of water if I had a gallon of it and we was in the desert. That's what you do to people that try to pull you out of your niceness and pull you down there to their level where they just around the clock resonate and vibrate as angry, ready to go, charged up. Ain't doing nothing but walking around with anxiety, stress, aggression, bitterness, mistakes, and they still ain't respected. They're still not respected. Some of them are feared, some of them, emphasis on some. But for the most part, they still not even respected. They still get disrespected. They just get ignored now. Ignoring someone can be a form of disrespect too. Paying you dust, looking you right in your face and turning right away or laughing right in your face. Most of the time, I won't even give you a laugh. That's a way to show somebody that they nothing to you too. And that is what I'll give you. You will watch me give people that deserve love. I will give them love and they will give me love right back and I will receive it. And you will have to sit there and watch. You sit there in that corner. You want to go into a ball of anger and hardness and stuff like that. Ain't nothing wrong with protecting yourself and having boundaries. Of course not. But to think that you need to change yourself and be more mean, like the people that are walking around here angry and bitter and nobody care about them and they struggling every other day, even if that ain't always the case. You got some people that's super rich, quote unquote, and they still walking around feeling shitty, thinking that being mean is gonna make somebody take them serious. Ain't nobody taking you serious. You have turned into the adult version of a temper tantrum and you wear it proudly as a character trait, and you thinking that somebody that's nice is going to be taken advantage of? No, the only people that get taken advantage of are the ones that are so blind and so stuck in their ways, so fearfully stuck in their ways, that they will make decisions out of desperation and out of fear. Because choosing to become the version of you that is so hard and so mean and so angry to protect yourself is the one that is still operating out of fear. So you still gonna get manipulated. You're still gonna get ran over. You still gonna be taken for granted because you became the way that you are because you was going through that to begin with. You see what I'm saying? Like turning into the byproduct of what you traumatically experienced and staying there and remaining there only makes you experience it even more. Now, are there times where, changing up and a little bit or whatever, some people get a little bit more mean as they glow up, but it seems that they got more mean. It's not that they got more mean. They just got more firm. They got more stern, and they started setting more boundaries. Not everybody deserves your kindness. Not everybody deserves your love, but that don't mean that nobody don't. And that don't even mean that the majority of the people don't. It just means that if somebody is being rude, if they give you rude, you give them nothing or rude right back. You don't smile to ease the tension. You don't make it nice to ease the tension. You don't have to people please and tiptoe, to change nothing. And you also don't, or to alleviate any discomfort. And you also don't need to be turning into an angry, bitter Betty like the person, like your auntie tried to tell you, like your mama tried to tell you. And that is why I say, you don't have to change who you are. You just alter who you give that to. You alter who you express that, who you share that version or that kind nature with. I'm not gonna smile. I don't have to smile at you. I don't have to say hello. I don't have to do nothing. I don't have to give you nothing. I don't even have to look at you. That don't mean that I just go angry to everybody. I will pay you dust and then see somebody else that likes me, that's kind to me, whatever, and they say, hey, and I'm hey, right back to them. Right back to my happy day. You see what I'm saying? I don't think that we ever need to change ourselves to fit the mold of what other people think. Remember, elephants are huge. Huge. Elephants are huge, but they're gentle too. And this is a point that I wrote because I pretty much touched on all the other points. They are gentle, but they also, like I said, they're also huge and strong as fuck. strong as hell, and will crush you, trample over you, stampede you in a second. It'd be so quick of a split second you didn't even notice it was coming. Okay, what do I mean by that? Despite how gentle they are, despite how quiet they are when they walk, you can barely even hear it sometimes when I'm watching videos. Like, they walk so gentle, it's like sometimes you can't even hear them. That's just a bunch of them walking through at once and blowing their horns and stuff. Sometimes you don't even hear them when they're walking. That's how gentle they are. But that don't change the fact that they are stronger than most of the animals in the jungle. You get what I'm saying? You don't need to be vicious to be strong. You don't need to be vicious and angry and aggressive to be taken seriously and to be respected. Elephants are stronger than some of the most vicious animals in the jungle. Think about a cheetah. Think about a tiger. Think about a lion. You get what I'm saying? And a lion is loud. You can hear one of their roars miles away. They got them pointy teeth and it don't matter. 1 foot will crush the head of it in a split second. And the elephant is still gonna go on about its day and be gentle. Being nice does not mean that you're naive. It don't mean that you gullible or you childish or none of that. It just means that you are aware. You know your power. You're rooted in your power. Especially even if you're not, I'll just keep it simple. Especially if you are someone that walks with God. This ain't got nothing to do with religion, because I am not a Christian. If you are someone that walks with Source, it's very easy for you to be peaceful and to have a good day and to be happy, because you ain't got nothing to worry about, nothing and nobody, ever. And the story where Jesus was with them people and he had that man walk on water, when that storm was going on crazy in the boat, or in the sea, and they was riding in the boat and Jesus was in that boat sleeping peacefully and everybody else was panicking, the storm is symbolic of your environment. Drugs, shootings, gangs, the ghetto, fights, domestic violence. That's what the storm represents, your environment. The people that's in the boat with him responding, going crazy and being hysterical and that's symbolic of people in the hood that changed to fit their environment, changed to survive their environment, became mean because they saw so much going on around them and thought that being mean was the answer. And then you got people like me, people like Jesus, that still saw all of that, saw how they are, saw how crazy the storm is, saw how people around them is responding to this storm and changing based on this storm, and still laid there peacefully and took a nap. Woke up the same as I was before I went to sleep. Because it's not about the storm, it's about me and who my eye is on, what my focus is on, what my mindset is on or around. I'm not going to change to fit my environment, because then I'm going to be changing forever like a chameleon. Not even like a chameleon, because a chameleon essentially stays the same, but the colors look different. But I'm not going to keep twisting and changing and shaping. You know how many different environments you're going to go into? Think about how many different stores you're going to go into in a day. Imagine how many times you would change. You would never be your real self if you change yourself to fit the environment and the people that's around you all the time. You can't be no shapeshifter. That's the thing. I'm not no shapeshifter. I'm not no personality shifter, and neither are you. You don't need to be. You can keep being nice. Keep being giving. Because even if you are being given to someone that's taking advantage of it, they're going to get taxed for that. They're going to pay for that. I heard some people say before, no good deed goes unpunished. I say no bad deed goes unpunished. You're not getting over on nobody. When you think you hurting me, especially when it's me, you think you hurting Corrielle, you only hurting yourself. You think you getting over by hurting God's people. What is God's people? Kind people, respectful people. That's why I say this ain't got nothing to do with religion. Because that ain't got, those two things alone, I ain't even finished listing yet. Those two things in themselves don't even apply to most Christians. They're not nice, they're not kind, they don't mind their business, they always got something to say, and they think that the religion that they study makes them the person that they're studying about. Like, it's so many different flaws there. That's why I say I am not religious. I'm talking about God's people, because God is bigger than any religion, any language, any book. Okay? God's people will always be taken care of, avenged, and no, it never goes unseen when someone is taking advantage of a good person out of greediness, out of malicious intent. That person suffers for that. Even if they don't directly suffer at the hand of the person they did it to, they suffer for it. Stress, anxiety, financial loss, losing friends, losing this, losing that. They go so far down a rabbit hole, they ain't even the same person they was before they went down it. They suffer, and people pay for the things that they do. Health issues. I'm not saying that health issues are always a punishment, but a lot of times they are. No bad deed goes undone. Their children having problems, their children being treated the way that they have treated others. You get what I'm saying? They don't, even if they thought it skipped them, it's not skipping them. It's going to them. So I don't have to do anything differently. You don't have to do anything differently. That kind of goes into the episode that I made where I said they didn't get away with what they did to you. Nobody taking advantage of a kind person because you view them as weak and view them as undeserving of respect will always come back to bite you in the ass. And the face. And the arms and the foot. And the mind. I don't have to become mean to be taken seriously in this world. And neither do you. It's not about real strength, and real power does not come from being loud and obnoxious and ghetto and walking around in aggression. It comes from being rooted in your power. People respect you because they see you, they feel you, they know. And it's even more scary when you are even more respected when you are a good person. Always a good person. Unshaken, unchanged, but will tax somebody's ass when it comes down to it. Or even if you don't do it by your own hands. When people see other people get taxed, get dealt with, get handled, get punished behind that good person, and that good person never had to say anything, never had to do anything, never had to even do nothing. It was already handled. That's even more scary. That will put people in even more fear than being rude and aggressive ever could. Because it's like, dang, what the heck is protecting that person? What do they? And it should be so clear, so obvious, like God is standing right there with them. How else would they be at peace so much? God is literally right there with them, inside of them. Just as we already know that. Like, if the ones that know, God is within me. So wherever I am, ain't no storm ever gonna be bigger than God. So nothing, no environment, no bad experience, like nothing and nobody is ever gonna be more powerful or more influential than what my own internal system is telling me to do. Or naturally how I am, because this is just how I am. Like I said, you could have been born this way. You could have always just been a nice person. Always. It's not a gimmick. It's not to get something out of somebody. It's not a mechanism. It's just who you are. You could have been I was a happy baby. And even can't nobody even say that I wasn't, even if they wanted to. The pictures and videos show it right there for itself. Smiling bright. A happy baby. A sweetheart. I don't need to let nobody turn me into Mrs. Angry, Mrs. Frustrated, Mrs. Tired. I don't need to be frustrated about nothing. And I'm not gonna let nobody make me feel like walking around in that is better. Don't let nobody tell you what and how to be. You do what works for you. You be who you are. And you're not no pushover. You're not naive. None of that. And no matter how many people try to project it off onto you, it don't make it true. Okay? You don't have to prove yourself or prove anything to nobody. You don't have to prove nothing. Okay? These is people that are the walking dead. A lot of them are. They just working and living for the next day to pay the next bill. Angry and frustrated about how life has turned out for them. You don't have to turn into that. You damn sure ain't got to listen to nothing that they got to say. You know, a lot of times people think that just because we're in happy, peaceful energy, kind energy, that they can come and play in your face. And they not. You don't have to change yourself to do that. You just change the way you respond to the people that come up to you. If they don't deserve it, then they don't get it. They want to give rudeness, then that's what they deserve, and you give that to them. Okay? Let me make sure I hit up all my points. And if some people, you know, they still don't get it, then they just have to learn the hard way. If they want to fuck around and find out, then they fuck around and find out. But that don't mean that I become mean to do so. Last thing I'm going to say here is, this is one of my favorite points. Never forget that God made the devil. I'm going to say that again. Never forget that God made the devil. Okay? So what does that mean? That means that even on their worst day, even on their meanest day, even on their toughest day, even on their most aggressive, most loud, most obnoxious, evilest, grimiest day, even when they on the worst demon time that there is, you still ain't even half of me and what I will do to you, can and will do to you, with a smile on my face and joy and peace in my spirit at that. Don't ever forget that God made the devil. So even the worst you can think of, even the worst that they have experienced, even the worst that they can plan, ain't even a fraction of what I will do to you. Can and will do to you. And I will do it with a smile on my face at that. And then afterwards, people will thank me and congratulate me for removing a pest and removing a nuisance from our society. That is it for this episode. As you can tell, one of my lights here, I gotta fix it. So I'm gonna end this episode here. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks so much for watching. Please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Share this with somebody who think they need to be mean, or they gotta change up how they are so they can start experiencing something different. Yeah, you do need to change up how you are. The change is only give that niceness to people that deserve niceness. That's it and that's all. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you on the next episode. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Corrielle.com.